and welcome to the first hearing for the new Subcommittee on Interior of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. I'm pleased to be holding this hearing on the impact to the American people, on the American people of three proposed EPA rules. Over the last year, the EPA has issued rules that are unprecedented in scope and among the most expensive in history. This overreach will impact families and businesses across the country. The first rule that we will examine is the redefinition of the term waters of the United States under the Clean Water Act. Despite two Supreme Court rulings that define the maximum reach of the Clean Water Act, the EPA has proposed a rule that will increase its regulatory authority far beyond current policy. It would allow the EPA almost unconstrained access to regulate and burden landowners with endless environmental studies. Even more disturbing, the waters of the U.S. rule still does not provide the regulatory certainty that farmers, small businesses, and homeowners need. Instead, it will result in more red tape, displace local management programs, and shift limited resources away from working environmental programs. We will also examine two EPA Clean Air Act rules that would fundamentally alter the relationship between states and the federal government. These rules would result in massive consumer electricity price increases and trillions of dollars in lost economic activity. These rules are particularly damaging to my home state of Wyoming, where we produce over 40% of the nation's coal. They would force the retirement of coal power plants across the country, significantly increasing electricity and natural gas prices, and threatens the reliability of the electric grid. The first of these air regulations is called the Clean Power Plan. This proposed rule would require the regulation of existing power plants and unconstitutionally expand EPA's authority into the management of states' energy generation. It does this through so-called beyond-the-fence measures that regulate more than just power plants. These measures would mandate energy efficiency requirements on individual households. Compliance costs of the Clean Power Plan could be as high as $479 billion by 2030, and 43 states would face double-digit electric price increases. This massive cost comes with extremely limited benefits and violates the principles of federalism. The second air regulation we will examine is the EPA's proposal to update the air quality standards for ground-level ozone. This benign-sounding rule is actually widely considered to be the most expansive and expensive rule in the history of the United States. Independent experts estimate the total possible cost of the rule at $1.7 trillion and 1.4 million job equivalents lost per year. This rule is so burdensome that some national parks, the nation's most pristine environments, will be found to violate the new standards. Today, we will hear from two state attorneys general who will explain the impact that these rules have on the states. They will also discuss the EPA's utter lack of consultation with Native communities despite clear legal requirements. We will also hear from two economists who raise significant questions about EPA's cost estimates. Just as importantly, these economists will also testify that the EPA is systematically overestimating the benefits of these rules by double counting benefits from other rules, ignoring basic accounting practices and projecting benefits out hundreds of years. With that, I would like to thank the witnesses in advance of your testimony. We are so grateful that you are here.